Alright, welcome to Just Magic the Gathering. I was at a certain point looking to do something a little different. Even though it's my normal grind, I've been playing my lifelink deck, and I did a pack opening yesterday and got some new cards. And I was looking at potentially actually making the end of my Seeker deck. From what I pulled yesterday, I have... It was the Circadian Struggle. It has Vivid Seek X cards where each share Seek X cards that each share a color with one or more permanents you control, where X is the number of colors among permanents you control. For each color among permanents you control, those cards perpetually get this spell cast, one less to cast. So if I have a white or green, blue, and black shrine out, I get to seek 3 different cards, and they all get a cost 3 cheaper. That one looked good, and it's from the new set, or I was thinking that would play well in this deck. And the other one was this artifact, the Adherent Heirloom. When this artifact enters, seek a creature card of the most prevalent creature type in your library. Tap, add 1 mana of any color, spend this only to cast creature spells. So if I don't have my fish out, so I only have 10 creatures in this deck, and I am a little leery on running this. I did actually take out 1 dragon and 1 of my robots, just so that my fish, my Lurker in the Deep would be my most prevalent. So whenever I play the Heirloom, it'll get me my Lurker in the Deep. I'm not sure if that was necessarily the best call. What I did was I took out 1 of the Spirited Simulacrums and 1 of... I didn't actually have 3 of the Cunning Azure Scales in here because I had 1 of the other dragons that did the Seek. I had the Pearl Lake Warden. I guess I had 3 of the Cunning Azure Scales, and I added the Pearl Lake Warden. Either way, the Cunning Azure Scale is another one of the Seek dragons. I don't know why I'm missing the obvious there. Because you can secretly choose a land or non-land card, seek a card of the chosen type. And that should be here in my blue seek cards. That's actually a little surprising. Seek a land card. Seek a card of the chosen type. So, yeah, I think that was actually working the other day, too. That it showed up when I searched seek. And it is now not. Either way, I was looking to build that out. And what I did, or what I was looking to do, is it's a little rich for me. I only have 3 mythic tokens and 2 of the Lurkers in the Deep that are going to basically finish me out. This needs 4 mythics and I only have 3. I was questioning, I can pull out 1 of my World Weaves, and what would I replace it with? In some ways, I was wondering more about, like, draw. I can pretty easily just fill this in with either a temple or control. Because I can just do something like that. And, yeah, at this point I have 22 lands, 22 enchantments, or 28 non-creatures. That's where I'm really heavy, is because it is shrine heavy. But that is, I guess, my main draw mechanic. And yeah, I'm kind of curious to see how this plays. Because at this point, it should now be within my range to pick up 3 rares and 3 mythics. Which I have. That is basically going to break me, but I'll get more tokens in the future. I was, in a way, questioning Because if I take out one of my lurkers, then I can randomly pull basically any of my cards, as opposed to only the lurkers. I don't know how this is going to run. I think because I am short on creatures, that this might be problematic. And I, in a way, was actually questioning the legitimacy of having 4 of these in my deck, because that makes it pretty expensive. And if I start with 2 of these in my starting hand, or even like my Cunning Azure scale, at least this has the Omen part where I can play it cheap. The Lurker's expensive. Even if I play it for its impending cost, the Circadian struggle. Either way, I'm going to do it. Finish deck. And yeah, I'm curious to see how this holds up. In some ways, I don't have high expectations, but either way, it should be a fun mechanic, and it'll be something new and different. That's one of the things I was thinking about with my mono black deck maybe being stronger than my life gain deck. I'm not a huge fan of the loop of it. It's just like, oh, I got my death loop up and now you're dead. I much prefer like the mill where it's like, oh yeah, it doesn't always hit, or I don't know. It's the mill deck I played yesterday was interesting, just a straight counter deck. That took a while to match. Dirk. The Virtuous. So, in a way, I guess I'm kind of happy with it. Because this will work as a blue, and these will work as blacks, which means I can play my Azure scale. I don't get the dual lands until I get... And see, I could have played that if I had the mana. The Lunar Convection. So that, at the beginning of your end step, if you gained and lost life this turn, you can create a 1/1 black creature with flying. But for 2, you can pay 2 life to draw a card. So as long as you get the other half that loop up, it works fairly well. I'm going to go for land. And yeah. I thought that would actually give me the green, because there's green here. So for 3, I can actually just do my draw temple. I have some basic control now. And the Spirited Synchrilarium, or I've never actually played this card. I have a feeling this might actually work alright. 3/3 mascot. It's a changeling. I was just questioning the legitimacy of... Because I don't actually get my Spirited Synchrilarium. If I mana ramp... I think that might have been the better option, or I don't know. I need to get into... Oh, and because I did that, I shuffled and lost the top one. We'll see how this goes. Good game. I have a feeling he's mana strapped, or I just noticed that he's still down to 2 lands, and he's basically having to discard here. Cast it with its warp cost. I don't think I've ever actually played a warp creature before. So, starting to get some mana up. In a way, what I wanted was that my land temple. Lands, am I right? Lands, am I right? Yeah, he is. I'm pretty sure this is my game. Because if he's going to have to discard, which is rough for him. So at this point, cast with impending. And now I can actually do some control. The Lurker in the Deep. And it's the World Weave, so I can't actually turn it face up. How is he not getting into mana yet? I'm almost feeling bad for my opponent at this point. Scry 1. I don't necessarily need... A second Lurker wouldn't actually be bad. Because if I do something like the... Lands, am I right? Yeah, I'm feeling a little bad for you. Lands, I know. This is just a game over for him. He got it. Resolve. That was a pain land too, it came in tapped. 3/3. Alright, the Opulent Palace. I can seek a non-land card. I don't actually know how that worked. I was wondering if I should try and control. Oh, that was stupid because he can block and it doesn't. Yeah, that was silly. Submit one. Getting a little wide myself. Sheltered by Ghost. I'm assuming he's going to be taking my Lurker in the Deep. That was a mistake. Yes. Getting them cheaper is nice. So, in a way, that worked as expected. It felt a little bad for my opponent being mana strapped. I'll give it one more try. That was a long game. Or it was probably not a long game. I probably spent most of my time so far determining what to do with my deck and actually doing it. And I probably should have actually given an official rundown of the deck. Scry. There's not necessarily a lot I can do here. I don't necessarily recognize that custom art for the Evolving Wilds. The Evolving Wilds came in quite a few different sets over time, and that's one of the custom arts that's not my Evolving Wilds. I kind of like it, though. Is he just playing solid green? Badger Mole Cub. Mana ramping. Which is not good in a way because I have... Yeah. The only thing I have is Strategic Betrayal, which is going to... Now when he plays creatures, he's going to auto landfall. Good game. This is probably his game. Seek the land card. Oh. Yeah. Because that'll get me 4 for my plaza. But at this point, it's basically, I think, already over. I don't really have enough control to manage what he's up to, or he has a bunch of mana. Is what he has. That's going to count for a landfall. So now he gets to another landfall. And he's running the Fountain Port and the Fabled Passage. The Spirited Sanctuarium will at least get me a defender out. No. Seek a land card. He's definitely mana ramping more than I am, and I'm in trouble. Because I don't really have a lot to do here. Let's see what he's up to. Most of his stuff... Yeah, there's the ouroboroid. And that's basically game. And here's in a way where I wish I had a wipe all on this board. I am playing the right colors to run my... That is interesting. Boom, boom, boom. At least it's super fast. I was just thinking, I do have the right colors to be running the same one I have in my mill deck, the clear the board. So yeah, as far as a quick post-introduction, I went with the 3 air temples. I built a nice chunk of this around the temples. I went with 4 of the draw temples and only 3 of the land temples. I went basically entirely control for my 2 cost. I have 4 fells, 3 nowhere to runs, and 3 of the strategic betrayals. One of the few direct draws I have is my Spectacle of Destruction, and I went with this over my arena because it has the remove a wreck counter and then seek a non-land card, so I get to manifest those if I have my lurker in the deep out. I did throw in 2 of the World Weaves. Whenever I cast a creature spell, you seek a non-land card and goes onto the battlefield tapped. The Oasis of Renewal, I was wondering the legitimacy of having in this at all, because when the Oasis of Renewal enters and whenever a land card leaves your graveyard, seek a land card. This ability only triggers once per turn. But that way, if I like banish my graveyard, I get replacement lands. It depends what goes into my graveyard. This is really based on like things going into my graveyard and coming back out of my graveyard. So whenever this enters and whenever a non-land card leaves your graveyard, seek a non-land card. So it works both ways. It only triggers once each turn, but you get a land and a non-land. If they like try to do control, either way, you get to seek, and it works with the overall seek. The Adherent Heirloom, this is what allows me to go for the fish and just get almost a little more mana ramp. The Pearl Lake Wardren is... I have a couple dragons in here. The Cunning Azure Scale, which allows me to secretly choose a land or non-land card and then seek that card, and then seek a non-land card. Or, sorry, seek a land card and put it on the battlefield. So for 3, it comes onto the battlefield untapped, and for... basically 2, I can do the same, but it can go either way. This is just in most ways a better card, but it's more expensive. It depends on, I guess, what you're looking for. They're both rare. The Plaza I already covered, and then the Spirited Simularium. This is the one that allows me to like seek on entry, then warps out and seeks again, and then when I play him again for 4, I've seen it used really effectively. So then the 4 lurkers in the deep. This is the... yeah, whenever this permanent enters or attacks, you get to seek a non-land card. Whenever you seek 1 or more cards during your turn, conjure a duplicate of each of those cards into your hand, and then manifest those duplicates. Which, yeah, I'm really glad to see that worked well with the Circadian Struggle. Because this got me to be able to cast all of those cards I pulled cheap, too. So, Yeah. I probably could shape up my lands a little bit more. I know I got a green-black pain land the other day that would probably go in here perfectly. But yeah, either way, I'll have a new deck I can play with here for a bit, or I'm kind of looking forward to playing some Magic in the future with it.